Some big new developments now in the investigation into Russia's meddling in the presidential election. You remember the House probe was thrown into disarray weeks ago when its chair, Devin Nunes, decided that he had to step aside amid controversy involving the Trump surveillance claims. Today, that Intel committee got back together. They met this morning. They were overseen by a group including Congressman Trey, Gowdy, who speaks exclusively with us in moments. All of this amid fresh allegations that President Trump's former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, may have broken the law when he failed to disclose payments that he received from the Russian and the Turkish government.
Personally, I see no information or no data to support the notion that General Flynn complied with the law.
I agree with the chairman. I mean, he was supposed to get permission and he was supposed to report and he didn't, period. I mean, there's no evidence of it.
So here now in a first 100 days exclusive, Congressman Trey Gowdy, who is one of those overseeing the House probe. Congressman, good evening. Good to have you with us tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So you regrouped today to get this thing back in motion. What are your next steps?
Start interviewing witnesses and accessing documents. That's the lifeblood of any investigation. And we need to do it as one committee in a bipartisan, apolitical way. But, Martha, you have to have the witnesses come forward and you have to have access to the documents. That's the lifeblood of any serious investigation.
So are you getting what you need from the White House on this?
We are in some aspects. In some aspects, I wouldn't say the White House, the administration as a whole, we're going to need more documents. I think they're aware of that. Mike Pompeo is not only a friend but a former colleague. He has pledged his support. I'm sure Admiral Rogers at the NSA will as well. To the extent there's an ongoing criminal investigation, it makes it a little tougher for DOJ to share everything. But it's a work in progress. We're not there yet, but I'm optimistic that they also understand we can't do our jobs without all the documents.
All right. So when all this sort of came to a screeching halt a little while back, it was about to happen that Sally Yates and James Clapper were going to testify, and John Brennan, about what they understood about Michael Flynn and the larger picture here. Are you going to speak to them?
We are going to speak to them. Whether it'll be a public setting or a private setting, I think will be determined by Chairman Conaway and Ranking Member Schiff. I've been pretty vocal. We had one public hearing in which the witnesses almost 100 times said they could not answer the question. And most investigations I'm familiar with in a previous life were done confidentially. Then you share the results at the end, but the process is confidential. But that's above my pay grade to make that call. And if Chairman Conaway tells me that we're going into a public hearing, I'll be ready.
There was some discussion that perhaps Sally Yates had presented some of this evidence with regard to Michael Flynn to the president, that she may have made someone in the White House aware of it. Is that a question that you need answered? And if it's not answered in a public forum, do you think that the American people will feel like they have heard the whole story?
Well, at some point, the American people will learn everything that we've learned. It's just a question of when. And having grown up in a courtroom, the judge tells the jury, you can't decide the facts until the last witness has testified. So she's one of the first witnesses. I would ask everyone to withhold judgment until every witness that has relevant information has talked. I knew former Attorney General Yates before she was the acting Attorney General. I have a wonderful relationship with her. She was a really good prosecutor. And to the extent she has information the committee would be interested in, I'm sure she'll be forthcoming with that.
What about on the Senate side? Because there has been some speculation that they're slow-walking this. You know, and I think some people look at it and it kind of reminds them what they saw on the other side of the fence with the Hillary Clinton investigation, that people aren't being forthcoming, that they're not particularly anxious to dig into this issue. What's your take on that?
Well, I don't believe that. I think Chairman Burr I don't know the ranking member, but I know Chairman Burr pretty well. Investigations take time. The Katala prosecution, you'll remember the one suspect charged in Benghazi has not even been brought to trial yet. I don't hear folks complaining about that. That's been years ago. Investigations take time, and you only have one opportunity to do it the right way. So long as you're making incremental progress and you're gaining access to new facts, the amount of time something takes is dictated by how much information you're uncovering. So it could just as easily be a positive sign that it's taking them longer than they may have imagined. They may be uncovering more information. I don't judge the efficacy of an investigation based on the length of time.
All right. Trey Gowdy, Congressman, thank you very much. Always good to see you.
Yes, ma'am. You too.